Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. We're listening.
Basis of the story was that on Thursday he was 45 minutes late, and we didn't really have a lot of differences on Thursday night. On Friday night, he actually was on time, which was great. Unfortunately, he shotgunned like 6 glasses of red wine on stage as part of his show. Well, towards the end of the show, it didn't go so well, considering he broke a glass, a wine glass on stage that was right on top of the front row, and then he was spilling wine on his shirt. So I didn't make any comments. I said, look, I said, help my staff. I said, it's a simple situation where you guys know that, we're served. You're not going to send up 6 drinks on stage again. That's just not going to happen. Okay? So after that, that was fine. They asked if they could get paid on Friday night, and I agreed to pay them on Friday night. They also said that they would like to get all cash. And I said, well, that's just not an option. This day and age, we don't take in all cash. It's majority credit cards, and we weren't prepared to do so. So they said, okay, well, what can we get? I said, well, you can get a check. That's what the agreement says, and that this cash thing is something that you just sprung on me a second ago. So we said, okay. So I wrote him the check. We did the numbers, wrote the check, done. Saturday night comes, and at 8 o'clock, actually, the show starts at 8 o'clock. At 8:07, I was text messaged by his manager, we're 15, 20 minutes away. We're leaving Naples now. I said, okay. I said, the show started, so you'll be here right on time. Now it's, I'd say 8:20. And no, they're not here. They text me back and say, how are the numbers looking? I text them back. I said, not great, but they're okay. I send them the number at 8:22. Now the show started at 8 o'clock. He's not here yet. And the normal situation is 5 minutes for the opener, 15 minutes for the feature act, and then the headliner does 45 minutes to an hour. So at this time, he's scheduled to be on stage. At 8:55, I said, "Hey guys, it's getting hairy right now. The comics have all run out of material. These guys are just feature acts. They're not prepared to do an hour on stage." No response. At 9:05, now an hour after showtime, I said, "Look, I said a simple yes or no. Is the show getting canceled? And you guys not showing up?" Nothing. At 9:15, I call an intermission in the middle of the show. And I say on the microphone, look, I apologize. There's been some communication errors and unfortunately some non-professional acts on the talent side, and we're going to have to cancel the remainder of the show. Unfortunately, Fazion's not going to be performing. However, I would like to issue everybody free tickets to an upcoming performance, and if you'd like to stay in your seats and finish out the show, we're going to turn on some music and I'll offer a free round of drinks for everybody. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Fazion walks in at 9:20. The show started at 8 o'clock. Does the show, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I introduce him at the second. I said, well, second back, Fazion's here, the show's on. And the crowd goes crazy, boom. So I have 2 kids of my own, my girlfriend has 2 kids, so I leave, I go home. Simple. My job's done. There's another show coming in. Management said to me, look, Captain, said, you're going to have some customers that are pretty upset since they've been sitting here for an hour and 20 minutes. Maybe you should go ahead and exit the building, and we'll issue we'll tell everyone we're sorry, and we'll do the refunds accordingly. I said, okay. I said, that's fine. I have 2 kids, and my daughter's got 103 temperature at home. I'm taking off. She was super sick. She went home to school on Friday. So that was the most important thing on my mind. Sunday night, before I leave, his manager says, hey, we got to talk. I said, okay, no problem. He said, what's going on with the payment? I said, well, I'll do my best to come up with a cash scenario. I said, according to what I can collect over the weekend, the banks are closed. I said, don't hold me to a number, but whatever I have, I'll be able to, give you some kind of portion of the payment. Okay, thanks. He said, hey, the other thing is Fazion is a little upset. He talked to all the comedians in town, in L.A., and the guys all love you, and they want to hang out, and can you take them out to lunch and you have barbecues and all this stuff? I said, no, I absolutely do. I said, and it's great. I said, it's nice to hear that Fazion wants to have some kind of contact with me because I called him on Monday, I called him on Tuesday, I called him on Wednesday, and still to this date I haven't gotten a return phone call. He says, oh man, that's Fazion, I know. I said, you probably don't even have his cell phone. I go, no, I don't. He says, well, that's Fazion for you, no problem. He said, I'll let him know. I said, well, now that you mention it, we're having a family barbecue tomorrow, and it's not like going to be a big party. I said, but there's going to be about 30 or 40 of us. It's going to be a beautiful place in a tropical setting on Isla Capri. It's right around the corner, and I'd love everyone to attend. He goes, you know what, we're going to Miami Beach, but if we don't do that, we'd love to come. That was it. I walked out the door. It was 10 o'clock. I went home. Sunday night comes. I do all the numbers because it's a percentage kind of door deal thing. In our business, that's the way special events work. And the show starts at 9:30. At 10:20, my assistant manager calls and says, hey, Captain, Fazion's not here, and what would you like me to do? And I said, well, I'll call him. So before I call him, my manager calls her back and says, you know what, his manager's here now, and they said they want all cash. I said, well, I put in a four-figure cash payment. I won't say the amount. I put in a four-figure cash payment, and the check, and the remainder is, in cash, and the remainder is going to be a check. So he gets on the phone and says, look, man, this isn't what we agreed on. I said, look, I told you that what we agreed on was is that if I had enough cash to provide you some cash, since this is something that we knew nothing about. You know, you're telling me now you need cash. Why? We have a check. We have plenty of money in the bank. Your first check cleared. There's never a situation like that. Well, Fazion wants cash. I said, well, I gave you the check and I gave you the cash. I'm prepared to pay you for everything you need to do. That's not a problem. He goes, look, Fazion's leaving if he doesn't get all cash. I said, then we got a big problem. I said, because you put us through the ringer all week, okay? Everybody's walking on eggshells. You're spending money on drinks. You spent over $600 on drinks. If you had such a horrible time, why did you tip my bartender $100, okay, inside the club? And now you're telling me that he's going to walk out, he's not going to perform? I said, how about this? I said, we're going to cancel the show since it's already 10:30 now, and the customers have been there for an hour, and they haven't even seen Fazion. I said, so I'm going to get out of bed, I'm going to call the Marco Island Police Department, and I'm going to meet you at the club with the police escort, and then we'll settle it up however we have to settle it. Well, when I arrived, Fazion was no longer there. He had already went home. Therefore, I have no other option other than cancel the show. I can't have a guy. The situation is that you're not getting paid for Saturday shows. You're not getting paid for due damage control and refund all my customers that are going for the next couple weeks to be telling me that they want refunds for the show. I said, and then we can settle up however we have to settle up. I said, but at this point, Fazion's not here. You need to leave the property, and nobody's getting paid, and the show is getting canceled. That was the end of the story. I make the announcement on the microphone. Everyone says, oh. And from that point on, I start issuing refunds. People that pay cash get their cash back. The people that pay credit card put their name on a list and will refund the money today when the banks are open. By the time I was done with the 35 minutes or 40 minutes of refunding people's money, I get a message that Fazion is tweeting that he left the club because I said a racial slur. Okay? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Fazion, number one. Number two, he's trying to save face with his fans, which, by the way, I wish he had more because it would have been sold-out shows. He's trying to save face with his fans, saying that I said a racial slur and he wasn't performing at the club, which was nothing. That was a total fabrication of a story. There was never any interaction between Fazion and I. I have the messages from his management. I have the text messages of the logs asking where he's at, what's going on, why aren't we performing. And in the meantime, I'm in bed when this is all supposed to be going on. So that's my story. It's a simple situation of, unfortunately, he must be embarrassed because, maybe we're a little club in his mind in Marco Island, and I didn't just decide to roll over and pay him cash, which wasn't an option. And then he felt like he needs to go out and harm my business and my credibility, which, at the end of the day, isn't going to happen. People understand that we produce the best show in the Southwest Florida. We bring in all acts, whether it's race, color, whatever, ethnicity. There is no difference. We put on the best performances. Our customers come in from all around the world, and everybody here has a good time, and they know when they come into the establishment that there is no such thing as racism. So that's my story. Fazion can say and do what he wants. There's going to be some repercussions following this, and I hope that I covered my end of the deal and told the truth, and you guys understand that this is the truth. And there's also 400 other people that saw Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows and understood the drinking, understood the breaking of the glasses, and understood the tardiness of 40 to an hour and a half minutes late of his performance, because the community tried to say that I'm a racist when this is not even